Hi guys, how are you today? I hope you guys are all having an amazing day so far. If you are not having an amazing day, I really hope that your day gets better from here on out. My name is Shanda and welcome to my channel, you guys, and today we are going to start building an enclosure for Ghost, my beautiful black and white Argentine Tegu, and he is getting a little bigger, so we need to get him a new enclosure. So we are starting to build his 8x4x4 enclosure, and we really debated for a long time if we should use regular plywood and like dry lock it and seal it and everything like we were doing with the other enclosures we were building, or if we wanted to use PVC. We decided on PVC because it holds humidity a lot better, and we have looked everywhere. We went to a couple Lowe's stores today and a couple Home Depots, and we finally found sheets of 8x4x4 and a ½ inch thick of PVC, and we got 4 of them. They were $100 a piece, so it's like double the amount of plywood, how much plywood is, but we got 4 sheets, and we are trying to get them now in the back of the truck. And we also got the 2x4s for the frame, and we got some of these castor wheels as well, so it can be on wheels and I can move it around and like clean under it and vacuum under it and stuff like that. But we got 6 wheels because we're going to put 2 in the middle as well, and the frame is going to be like a bed frame, so it can also have more support in the middle so it won't like bow down or anything. So this is what it looks like. It's a little big, so we got to make sure it's in there nice and secure. And here's all of our 2x4s for the frame as well. So we're gonna get all this stuff in and get headed home and start building. Look how much farther it's hanging on the car. This is the frame that we built for the enclosure to sit on top of. After we built the frame, we took it outside so that I could stain it. I chose this really dark stain for the wood because after the enclosure's done, I want to paint the outside of it black. So I painted on the wood stain in sections, and I would leave it on for about 30 seconds to a minute maybe before I would wipe it off. And when I wiped it off, it was just this beautiful dark wood color that I really ended up loving. After we stained the frame, we put a piece of plywood on top, stained that as well, and this is the final look of our frame. So after we were done with the frame, it was finally time to start putting the enclosure together. So we took all of the pieces of PVC, put it in the shape that we wanted, and then we drilled the holes in and put all of the screws in. Now we screwed it together like completely. We put screws all along the top, all along down all the sides, and pretty much everywhere, so to make it really nice and really sturdy for us. Now this is the shape of the enclosure that we had once we were done. It is 8 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot, but if you look up here in the corner, the PVC is actually sticking out a ½ inch too far on both sides. Now that is because we bought 4 sheets of PVC, and they were actually all 8 feet 1 inch. So we used 1 for the bottom, 1 for the top, 1 for the back, and the remaining sheet we cut in half to use for the sides. Now it was a ½ inch farther since on each side because it was 1 inch longer, so we actually had to cut off the ½ inch on both sides and just really hope that we did a really good and straight job. So we wanted to paint a really cute ghost on the inside of Ghost's enclosure for him, but after we got it all done, I realized that we're going to have to dry lock the entire inside of the enclosure and paint right over it. So yeah, that sucked. Now, after all of that, we put the border on the top and the bottom. Now, on the bottom, the substrate is going to come up to the top of this border here, and that is 12 inches high. So their substrate is going to be 1 foot deep for them, and the track is going to go on this border of the top and bottom, and the glass is going to go on there as well. We used painter's tape to tape off all of the edges and corners so we could Lexel everything. Now, Lexel is kind of like silicone, but it's more elastic, and I think it's a lot stronger as well. That tip came from a channel called Brad's Bioactive Builds. You should check it out. They're awesome. If you look to the left of the enclosure, there's actually a really large humid hide that we built. We built that out of PVC as well. It only has 3 walls, and the 4th wall is going to be the wall of the actual enclosure. Now, if you look on the inside of this humid hide, you can see that we silicone sphagnum moss to the walls. And if you get that wet, sphagnum moss will help hold the humidity really good in that humid hide for them. At this point, I went ahead and dry locked the entire inside of the enclosure, and I did 7 coats of dry lock. And I used dry lock original because it's gritty and feels like cement, and it can help file your Tegu's nails down as well. This is the 4th wall of the humid hide, which is actually the wall of the actual enclosure as well. And we also siliconed sphagnum moss to that as well. And if you look underneath it, there's 3 boards of PVC, and those boards are for the humid hide to sit on top of. And we're also going to silicone the humid hide into place as well. We also cut these holes into the side of the enclosure so that we could put the hoses in there for the fogger, and then we can put the hydrometer in there as well. That way we can monitor the humidity in there, and then the fogger will keep it nice and humid for them as well. We actually built another hide on the right side of their enclosure. It's actually going to be underneath their water bowl and underneath the substrate. So we got this big tube here to act as a tunnel into their hide that's going to be underneath their substrate. We used spray foam to actually attach the tunnel to the hide, and we also used it because we had to kind of burn and melt the tunnel so we can bend it to our liking, and we used the spray foam to keep it that shape and also to cover up any sharp parts. We let the spray foam dry for about a day, and then we cut off the entire top layer of it. Any part of it that was shiny, you have to cut it off of there or the dry lock will not stick to it. Then I dry locked the entire tunnel and tube and all of the spray foam after we cut off the first layer of the shiny part of the spray foam. I dry locked this, and I did 7 coats of dry lock on this entire tunnel and this hide as well. And when I tell you, it was such a pain in the ass to dry lock the inside of this entire tunnel and to make sure I got every little piece of foam dry locked. It was such a pain in the ass, but I was able to do it. And every time, every coat, I was covered in dry lock, but I did it. And we also dry locked the entire inside and outside of this humid hide as well. And of course, I dry locked it before we put the sphagnum moss on the inside. We then started cutting all of the holes in the top of the enclosure for all of the lights. And then we made all these little frames for the lights as well. And when I tell you that this took days of math to get all of these lights in the right spots. These little holes right here are for the misters for the misting system. I finally went ahead and started painting the outside of the enclosure. This is just after 1 coat of the black paint, and this is the side where we see where the mister and the fogger is going to hook into, and here's the top of the enclosure as well. And again, this is just after 1 coat. This is after the 3rd coat, and it is looking absolutely beautiful. I had to do 3 coats, but it looks great. We finally were able to put the hide into its position and silicone that in for security, and here is the emergency door that we cut into it just in case we ever have to check on them or get them. And here is their little door over here that they will use to get in and out of the hide. After 7 coats of dry lock, we went ahead and did one more coat and we tinted it like a gray color and then a rocky color on top. And we did the inside of the tunnel and the top of the tunnel just so it looks more natural for them. This is actually what their hide looks like underneath their water dish. So this is under their water dish. Of course, we're going to put substrate in there, and that tube will come out right here. It's going to be hooked to their water dish, and then it'll come out right here, and we'll actually be able to drain their water dish for whenever we have to actually clean it. All right, moment of truth. Let's put that baby on and see if it fits. Okay, it actually took some finessing and the tube was too high. We had to actually cut it down a little bit, but it fit in there and it works great. All right, you guys, it was finally time to put the track in place for the glass. Now, at first we were going to use liquid nail, but in our research, we found that this other brand, Loctite PL Max Premium, does not expand. Now, liquid nail expands when it dries. Loctite does not. So we just put it on there and we had to use painter's tape to tape it into place. And of course, the painter's tape kept coming off, so I had to use a ton of it. But we got it in there nice and secure, and we had to wait 24 hours for it to dry. All right, you guys, this is the top of their hide right here. It's got all of their lights, their basking lights, their misters, and they got slate rock to bask on as well. Here's the rest of their misters and their lights and their UVB light. That cord, we are going to secure it. It's not just going to be hanging there. Here's the ramp that we made for them. We secured that with hinges. It's going to go from their substrate to the top of the hide so they can use that to get up there and bask. Here's their tunnel, their other hide, their water dish, and right here is a flower pot. We're going to put a pothos plant in there, and we're also going to make that a waterfall for them as well. We put a pump in the water bowl connected to hoses, and the top hose is connected to a PVC pipe with holes in it, and the flower pot has holes in it as well. Their valve is also working, and when we have to clean their water dish, the water can be drained out right here. Okay, you guys, so I am getting ready to get all the substrate out of Ghost Enclosure because there are so many isopods, blues, orange, whites, and so many springtails I don't want to lose. So I'm going to get all that and transfer it over. We are almost done. We are starting to put the substrate in, and the last step is the glass. I really hope it fits. That would suck so bad if we can't get the glass in and we did all this work. But let's get them. Look at all the beautiful little isopods. Yeah, don't want to lose those. Yeah. I can't see. Look in here, in this hole. Look at all the isopods in there. That's so nice. Don't touch them. Oh. You're going to your new home, little icy potties. With everything in place in the enclosure, it is finally time to start making our substrate. So we use that tub right there and put equal parts of our already sterilized topsoil, our play sand, the peat moss, and our cypress rose blend. And we mix that all up and put it in tubs at a time. We are finally done putting all of the substrate into the enclosure, and we put all this leaf litter on top to kind of bump up the husbandry for them, and we put all their decorations and logs in there too. Okay, you guys, here is a look to the inside of their humid hide. Now, as you can see, there is sphagnum moss all over the sides and the top of this hide for them. They have plenty of substrate in here, and we also have a hydrometer, a mister, and a fogger in here just to keep the humidity at least 80% for them. Right here under their humid hide is a little log that we put there that can start a burrow for them, so they can go ahead and make a burrow there if they want to. There is more logs and more decor for them. And here is their tunnel, and this tunnel goes all the way down underneath their water dish, and there's another hide down there. Okay guys, we are almost done with the entire enclosure. We just put all of the substrate in, and it is 11 inches of substrate, and it took a lot, but we are done with everything, and the only thing left, we have one thing left to do, and it is to put the glass on the front of the enclosure. Now this is the scariest, most nerve-wracking part, because we did all of this work, and if the glass doesn't fit, then I don't know what we're gonna do.
I'll cry.
Cry. Yes, I will cry. So we are going to attempt to put the glass in, so let's go. Let's see if it fits. Try to move it back and forth. You having trouble with
I was until I got it right in.
I was here to help with the camera. It fits! Ooh. It looks so nice. So nice. So after we got the glass in, it was time to put the handles on. So we had to wipe the glass off right there where we put the handle with an alcohol pad. And then the little handles just stick right to the glass. We just had to make sure they were nice and straight and nice and tight. We then went ahead and did the exact same thing to the other side and the other piece of glass, so we can have handles on both sides and both pieces of glass. After we put the handles on the glass, we went ahead and put these long strips of foam padding on the outside of the glass where it opens, and these strips will help keep the humidity and the heat on the inside of the enclosure for them. Alright, this is a look at the back of the enclosure, and as you can see, we did our very best to keep all of the wires as neat and as organized as we possibly could. Alright, here's the outside of the enclosure. On the left side, we have our ZoomEd Environmental Control Center. Now this tells us the temperatures and the humidity of the entire enclosure. We also have our PVC pipes right here that go to our fogger and our mister. So these go to the inside of the humid hide to keep it nice and humid. So let's go ahead and go over the lights real quick. The one on the very left is a UVB light. It's a VivTech Midday Blaze. This is a new type of UVB light that does not give off harmful UVC. And then right next to it in the very front towards us is his basking bulb. It's 75 watt. The middle one is an Arcadia deep heat projector. It's 50 watt. And this one towards the back is another basking bulb, which is 50 watt. So it's really hot towards the front, and then it gets a little cooler towards the back there. And in the very middle of the enclosure right there is an 80 watt Arcadia deep heat projector. And on the very right side right there is a 60 watt regular LED light bulb, and that's mostly for the plant growth right there. On the inside of the enclosure here, we have two Arcadia T5 14% UVB bulbs, and they are also in Arcadia light fixtures also. On the inside towards the front, there is also a Arcadia 22 watt Jungle Dawn LED bar. We are finally done, and this is the final look after everything is completely finished, and we are testing the misters and seeing if they go off. It looks like they are going off, and everything looks perfect. The meat. Let's see. What do you think? You see each other? Do you see each other? You see her? Ooh. Careful. Hi.
No, it's not.
You smell each other? You flick it? Look at all those tongue flicky pickies. Are you okay? Everything good? Hi. Say hi. Okay. Are we doing good? Your eye looks a little crazy. Are you okay?
She's flipping her on the head.
Are you guys alright? This is great. There's a hide in here for you. You want to go see? Got little flippy doors for you. You go in. You got it? You got it? You got it. Good boy. You did it. Look, you found it. Is he gonna go up? Here's your basking spot, buddy. You found it. Oh, you're gonna go in? No? Yep, there you go. Yay, that's your humid hide. And here's your basking spot. What do you think, baby? You like it up there? All right, you guys, that is everything. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate it. If you like this enclosure, please leave all your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. If you like videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you as part of the family. And that is everything for this video. I will see you guys in the next video. And remember, guys, in a world where you can be anything, please be kind to each other. I love you guys. Bye.